Fellas, we got a lot to get through. Donald Trump is threatening to sue the New York Times over allegations that he groped women, which would contradict what he said on the last debate. Take a look. So now 4 women are claiming that he did get physical with them. At the same time, sources say Trump's campaign is about to bring new Bill Clinton accusers forward with 26 days to go until this.
Oh, my God.
Are these accusations going to cancel each other? I mean, how much is this going to matter to voters? And are voters in fatigue mode?
I think they're going crazy. I said, the second he said that in the debate, he said, no, I did not. I heard those words. I said, uh-oh. Because I knew the floodgates were going to open and people were going to come forward. The thing that's most distressing to me is that it's a presidential election and no one gets to talk about policy. We have 2 people. You're going to hear now from a bunch of accusers against Donald Trump. Now you're going to have the floodgate of people against Bill Clinton. We're going to be talking about whether or not Hillary played a role in bringing those women down. And a lot of voters sitting at home are saying, okay, but what do they stand for again? How do I get into the voting booth and how do I choose what's best for my country? Because you guys are engaged in drama and sensationalism, and I'm interested in who's going to bring, let me keep more of my hard-earned cash.
The question also is about the millennials. Who are the millennials going to vote for? Because these are the people that Hillary is having trouble with right now, although 40% have an unfavorable view of her, and 63% of the millennials have an unfavorable view of Trump. So she is doing a little bit better than he is. And the other interesting thing I read today was that at Liberty University, where Jerry Falwell Jr. is the president of it, he is backing Trump no matter what Trump says. But the students say, they wrote a letter saying that they don't want to have anything to do with Trump. So it'll be interesting because that's a very important core voting block for Hillary Clinton.
You know, I think that we can't say that these allegations against Trump aren't important. And that is because anyone who has not read Natasha Stoyanov's People magazine article must read it, because many people, I think, are saying, well, these women, why are these women coming out now? Why didn't they do it before? And she says during the article something that I heard from many victims when I was prosecuting sex crimes, and I wanted them to come forward. She says, but like many women, I was ashamed and blamed myself for his transgression. I minimized it. It's not like he raped me. I doubted my recollection and my reaction. I was afraid that a famous, powerful, wealthy man could and would discredit and destroy me. And that really rang true to me. And I think the other thing that people need to understand about sexual assault, it's not just intercourse, it's not forced intercourse, it's unwanted touching, it's unwanted kissing, and that's exactly what you described. And sexual assault is also about power. It's not about sex. And so now you have a guy who is seeking the most powerful office in the world. And is he going to abuse that power?
And that article you're talking about is the woman who claimed he groped her down at Mar-a-Lago with the People magazine.
In the People magazine article, she said that she was interviewing him, and basically he showed her, while Melania, pregnant, was upstairs changing, he showed her a room, closed the door, and immediately stuffed his tongue down her throat. And it was an unsolicited, non-consensual sexual assault is what she's describing. And I think people will listen to that. I think millennials should, and I think women should. I think everyone should. I think men should too.
Well, it has to account for the fact that there are many women who still want to vote for him. I've seen them on TV.
Yeah, because there's the same way that you brought this great point up yesterday with the comparison to Bill Clinton. There were people who saw what Bill Clinton had been accused of. He had been accused of rape and sexual assault, and they looked at it and they said, you know what? I don't like this about him, but policy-wise, I believe that the direction he'll take the country, economy-wise, if you're looking at the issue of abortion or gun rights or whatever it was, they voted for him anyway. And there are people, to defend some of these Trump voters, there are people who don't like what they see character-wise with him, but they're stuck and they say, you know what, I care about the Supreme Court and I care about the Second Amendment and I care about abortion. And they feel that although he's not completely reliable, because he's been on both sides of many issues, they feel he's more reliable than she is, and they feel stuck.
Yeah, but
so they're not necessarily defending these things. He said they
I understand that. Believe me, I understand that, because I did make that point. But Trump seems incompetent on top of it. That's the problem. He doesn't seem...
I have heard some people say that that safety of knowing someone will surround themselves with other people that might be more true to the party line. So it's not that they're depending on him to be that strong of a leader.
But will he listen? Will he listen? And again, I really think, you know, it's not just Natasha's story that I talked about. You also have a woman, Jessica Leeds, who says that he assaulted her when they were flying together on a plane. Rachel Crooks says that he tried to kiss her during this like chance encounter in an elevator. And Mindy McGillivray says that she felt a little grab when she was at Mar-a-Lago and on her butt and turned around, and it was Donald Trump. So, I mean, you have now 4 women saying these things, and that's a question of character. It's illegal. It's criminal. If he did do these things, he's denied that he's done them. But it's about
she said in a court of law.
Well, it kind of will be, you know.
Unless there's a tape.
Look, this is going to happen. I get it. I know we got to go, but this is the first time I've said anything except welcome to The View. So I'm going to take my 2 minutes and just say that, you know, I would hope that we all get a chance when these accusations come. I hope that we are able to get them in front of judges. I hope that we are able to find people to prosecute them, because these charges are important. It's important to know they're out there. Now, whether the timing is smart or not comes into what people are thinking about. And that's never a good thing. Because if you start doubting that things may be happening because, oh, look, well, it's just to discredit him for now, people have a lot of questions, and questioning these kinds of issues is very dangerous. And people don't like to hear you say, well, why now? Or, you know, with anybody, whether it's Trump accusers or Clinton accusers, there are lots of questions that no one ever gets answered because we're not allowed to ask them. So keep in mind that when you decide to do what, baby?
They're telling me in my ear I have some must-reads.
I don't. Okay. Can I just finish what I was saying?
I didn't want to interrupt.
Well, you did, but that's okay. Go ahead, son.
Okay, so Trump tweeted this morning, the phony story in the failing New York Times is a total fabrication written by the same people as last discredited story on Woman, Watch. He also said, why didn't the writer of the 12-year-old article in People magazine mention the incident in her story? Because it did not happen. And then finally, another retraction, another statement. Trump and his campaign have denied the allegations. Trump's attorney has demanded that the New York Times issue a retraction and apology, and is threatening legal action against the New York Times.
We'll be right back.
All right.
Next, from the Clinton campaign WikiLeaks to Trump's latest scandal and what Bill Clinton told him about working with Hillary. They're getting into absolutely everything with Hillary's veep, Senator Tim Kaine. So how do you have the talk with your kids?
When I was pregnant, my son was curious about what was in my tummy. I said, when a mommy and a daddy love each other, God puts the baby.
And even if they don't love each other,
God puts the baby there anyway.
OMG, it's The View on ABC.
Senator Tim Kaine answered the call from Hillary Clinton to be her vice president. But the way this election has been going down, I have to imagine that even he had no idea what he was signing up for. So we'll find out. Please welcome Senator Tim Kaine. Can I call you TK?
You can call me TK or Tim.
I like Tim. I like TK Tim. Look, 26 days till this insanity is over. I bet you're probably just as anxious as everybody else. So let's jump into this. I mean, you heard us talking about the latest allegations against Donald Trump. Any thoughts?
Well, when the tape came out last Friday, I guess I was shocked but not surprised. I mean, the tape kind of made me sick to my stomach, but if you've been following things that he's been saying during his career and during the campaign, it wasn't completely surprising. I was surprised on stage Sunday night when he said, I just said that, I never did it, because I felt like, okay, well, how many days is it going to be until folks are coming out and saying, no, that's exactly the way he treated me. And now we're seeing that happen. So not surprised, but it is shocking, and especially that he is the nominee and this stuff is coming out.
That's the interesting thing, because Bill Clinton also has been accused of infidelity and sexual assault. Do you think that it's fair game because he wants to drag all of those women out? And is it fair game if he's not running for president?
Hillary Clinton and Donald Trump are the two on the ballot. I mean, that's the relevant comparison. And you're right, after Donald lost the first debate, after Donald lost the first debate, he said, okay, now I've got to make the Clintons' marriage an issue. It's not an issue for the voters. I mean, as I'm talking to people, he can run the campaign he wants, but as I'm talking to people, they want to talk about jobs and they want to talk about safety in a challenging world, and especially how to build a community of respect where we let everybody be around the table, not a community of disrespect and division.
I'm kind of curious because I wondered what went through your mind when you saw the second debate and you saw the sort of pre-show to the second debate, which was Donald Trump bringing out all the accusers. Did you have to take a deep breath, or what'd you think?
Well, I mean, it was... this is the most surreal race I've ever seen, and I'm in the middle of it. I mean, this is my 9th race, and I was chairman of the Democratic Party nationally, so I've worked on a lot of races. This thing is surreal. That took it to the next level. But I thought the thing that was so great about Sunday night's debate was that Hillary just was professional. You know, it was a weird circumstance for her to walk into, and I think what voters were looking at was, you know, how can you handle it? I mean, and she handled it like somebody who's got the temperament and the judgment to do the job, and that was what I really appreciated.
Senator, I want to ask you a little bit about WikiLeaks, because there have been some things that have come through about the campaign, such that Hillary may have admitted that she had a public and a private persona when talking about issues, particularly with respect to Wall Street when speaking to bankers, that she may have gotten debate questions ahead of time. And we've seen that one of the issues that she struggled with is this issue of trust. Does this support that? Or what do you say to voters that have doubted her on the trust issue and now see these things coming through via WikiLeaks?
First thing on the WikiLeaks, I mean, the FBI and the Director of National Intelligence has said this is hacking that Russians are behind it. The Russian government is behind it. So anybody that would hack to try to destabilize an election, you can't automatically assume that everything in all of these documents are even real. But here's the way I go at this. The best way to tell about the character of somebody in public life, in my view, is to look and see, do they have a passion that showed up before they were in public life, something that animates them and it drives them. And then they held on to that passion throughout their life. And Hillary Clinton has a passion from the time she was a kid in a Methodist youth group in the suburbs of Chicago under the influence of this great guy named Don Jones. Her passion has been empowering families and kids. And whether she's been in office or out, and whether she's winning or losing, when she was pushing health care reform when President Clinton was in and they lost, they branded it Hillary Care to try to sink her and sink it at the same time. And after that loss, which was personal, she didn't go away. She said, can I get health insurance for every low-income kid if I can't get it for everybody? And working together with Democrats and Republicans, she did. That tells you something about who she is.
Senator, you have devoted so much of your life you've devoted so much of your life to public office as a governor, a senator, and now possibly our next vice president. What can we expect from you as the vice president?
You know, I learned a lot from Joe Biden, who is a friend and has done a wonderful job working with President Obama. And some I've learned because he's talked to me, but some just by watching up close in the Senate.
Is he sorry he didn't throw his hat in now?
You know, I think he's in a really good place right now, really excited to be out on the trail. But what I've learned from him is the best job you do as VP is just try to be with the president when every hard decision is made, to offer what you have. I was a missionary, I was a civil rights lawyer, then I've been a mayor, governor, senator, so I've been doing public service for a while, and I have a lot to offer, but I also have a lot to learn. One of the reasons you want to be there when every hard decision is made is not just to offer your advice, but also to learn from somebody else who's a great leader. So that's job one. Then I have a couple of, things I'm really into. Not surprisingly, as a mayor and governor, I really like working with cities and states. Anything Washington does only works if it works in a neighborhood where somebody lives. So I want to try to work with mayors and governors. And then I have a real passion for Latin America because of working with missionaries in Honduras and having a Spanish fluency, being able to work with our other nations in the Americas, but also the 45 million Latinos aquí. That's something that I really want to be able to do, and I think I can do that well for the administration.
Y su español es muy bueno because we spoke backstage, and I actually was so impressed with your Spanish fluency backstage.
Thank you.
But I don't want to bring up a sore subject, but you took heat at your debate for interrupting Mike Pence.
Yes.
SNL had some fun with it last weekend. Take a look at this.
Is it funny?
It's funny. I mean, you guys, I've apparently watched too many episodes of The View. I mean, with the interruption.
Well done.
Because you looked like you were prepared, but you looked a little nervous.
Nervous in the good way. I think if you go into something high stakes and you don't have any sense of nerves, you should probably do something else.
You look like a litigator to me, but did you realize how much you were cutting him off?
At some point I made a decision. I made a decision pretty quick. I had two jobs that night, and it wasn't winning the debate, it was winning the election. So I needed to do two things. One, I needed to make sure that he did not open up any new line of attack on Hillary. I'm defending my running mate. And the nice thing was the next day there were no stories about Hillary or anything about Hillary. And then the second thing is I wanted to ask him over and over again, I don't see how you can defend this thing or this action or this word that your running mate has put on the table. And I did that 9 times during the debate, and I was able to say, every time I do that, you don't defend. If you can't defend your running mate, why should anybody else vote for him?
Well,
it got a little annoying, I'm sure, but I mean, I had a job to do. So.
I think they said that you lost the debate, though, right?
Yeah, but
Does that bother you when they say that? I don't understand winners and losers in a debate. It's what you get out of it, but they said you lost.
Well, again, I wasn't going in to win the debate. I was going in to try to win the election. That was my goal, and, I hope I advanced the ball a little bit.
All right. Well, we're not going to interrupt him, but we are going to go and come right back with somebody you would never interrupt.
No.
Your wife. We'll be right back.
And we're joined by a woman who's a lawyer, a judge, and Virginia's former Secretary of Education, and, his wife. Please welcome Ann Holton. So, you guys, and I said it was interesting during the break that you use your maiden name.
I do.
Whereas years ago you couldn't do that in politics, but...
The only person who was upset when I didn't change my name was my mother.
Oh, really?
She had hand-embroidered monogram towels for me with my new initials to be, she thought.
Oh.
And she still worries about what the mailman thinks.
So I understand that Tim is, I'll call you Tim, you mind?
Yeah, please.
That Tim is quite the poet, that he wrote you a poem. You married 12 years. Can you give us a little sample of the bard in you?
No, but it is true. We've been married 32 years on November 24, and after one of our first dates was a picnic on a beach called Singing Beach, Cape Ann, Massachusetts. Wow. And we went on a picnic, and Ann spilled, it was very cold March day, and she spilled hot coffee all over my lap. But I actually wrote a poem that was not about that, but it was about something good, but I can't even remember a line of it now.
It's called Cape Ann.
Yeah,
I remember that.
Cape Ann.
It was very sweet.
Well, Senator, the rap on you is that you are the nicest guy in the world. But Ann, can you give us a little dish? I mean, what is his worst habit?
Oh, he's got some habits. He's a good help around the house. He cleans things up, but he throws things away. Like I will find spoons in the trash can. I mean, real spoons in the trash can.
Too.
And my cup of coffee that I've just made and that I'm so excited about.
Oh, I do that.
He's got a lot of, we could do annoying habits.
Well, yeah, all right. We've mentioned your many accomplishments, Ann, but you resigned from your job as Secretary of Education in Virginia to help support your husband's campaign. And a lot of women, say they sacrificed their career for their husbands. I mean, but you don't feel that way. You feel you're a help.
Yeah, well, and I just have had so many wonderful opportunities. I left being a judge when Tim was elected governor, and I got to do this wonderful foster care reform work, making sure every kid has a permanent family. So I like to think I've kind of fallen forward, and that, maybe you can't do everything all the time, but sequentially I've been blessed with many wonderful opportunities, and I'm looking forward to whatever the next chapter is.
So will that be, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to cut you, but will that be as his partner, and will you bring the things you're passionate about to the forefront so that you can make some changes
well,
in
and
our network as well?
Well, Whoopi, that I have a great example for this. My mother was First Lady of Virginia. My dad was a governor when I was a kid, and I watched my mom use the bully pulpit to spotlight things she cared about, childhood nutrition, and I did when Tim was governor, got to work on that foster care reform and other things I cared about. So I get the opportunity to use the spotlight I'm hoping I get to, what Hillary's asked me to do on the campaign is listen to teachers and bring feedback back.
Ann has helped me do my job better. So when I was governor and she had been a juvenile court judge and done a lot of work with the foster care system, she said, we need to reform Virginia's foster care system. I probably wouldn't have known that on my own. And so she then led the effort with my cabinet secretaries to do that. And, we ended up doing some really good things that were all because of her insights and her energy that I wouldn't have on my own, made a priority. So she has helped me do a better job, and I hope I've helped you, do a better job in some of the things that you've done too.
Well, I had a chapter. Well, on a much lighter note, it is Throwback Thursday. Do you guys know what that is on Twitter?
Yes.
Were you okay? So we have to ask you about these pictures that broke on Twitter where everyone spoke about what a hottie your husband is. Wow. That is
Joy said, is that you?
Now that one, I do love those ones of him with our oldest.
Well, look at you.
That young man is now a Marine Corps officer in our oldest son. So I love those pictures.
Does all that talk make you jealous at all when everyone comes out, or does it make you proud? Or
well, I actually think he's hotter now than he was then. So. But I don't like to say that in front of him. I don't want his head to get swollen.
She said that once, and I called her and said, honey, thanks for that compliment, saying I'm hot. She said, I didn't say you're hot. I said, you're hotter now than you were then. I thought you were kind of goofy back then, so.
Well, your dad is in a film that I was in called Big Stone Gap. And he appears at the beginning of our movie. You are, you're going to take the reins on this and maybe try to help folks get themselves back to where they should be. So
it's a great part of Virginia. Whoopi, Big Stone Gap. I spent many a summer week there visiting my grandparents, and I watched the movie with my parents at the premiere in Virginia. We did not know there was a clip of him in it, and we definitely did not know that his parents' house was in it. Right. And when we saw Ashley Judd walking out that porch, we were like, that's our porch. And then those kitchen cabinets have not changed since the 1960s.
Those books are really good.
She's a brilliant writer.
She's a brilliant author, yes.
Brilliant.
But we have a little couple speed round for you guys, okay? So, who wins an argument, Ann?
Me.
Yeah,
Hands down.
that's true.
You both said that.
Yep.
Now, Tim, we asked Ann about your worst habit. What's her worst habit?
Well, she is annoyingly right, and even when I'm sure she's wrong, then like 3 days later I realize she's right, and that is a bad habit.
Still right, yeah. Now, Ann, you have 3 kids. Which one of you is the pushover parent?
Oh, that would be him, too. Yeah, I would say that raising children, it was a knockdown, drag-out struggle between me and number 1 son for control of a household. Tim, a very distant third. Yeah. Wouldn't you say? I mean,
I think that's fair.
Me.
And Ann, what is your favorite date night?
Oh, we're pretty simple. We love to go for a walk. We've got a park near our house. We'll go for a walk in the park and then come home and watch TV and drink a little wine.
That sounds perfect.
Yeah.
And Tim, the show you have to watch together.
We love the show called Turn. I don't know if you guys have seen it.
You're supposed to say The View.
Oh, yeah, okay. but we are not together. We are not together in the mid-morning. Right. So Turn is a great show, AMC show, about George Washington spy ring on Long Island during the Revolutionary War. And it's shot in Virginia, and we've gotten to know some of the folks.
Of course, that's what you watch.
Yeah.
So we have to go. It was really lovely to have you here.
Thank you all.
I want to thank Senator Tim Kaine and Ann Holton. And also, we're inviting Mike Pence and Mrs. Pence to come on the show also. So I hope that they will come here, and we will be right back.
As a new mom, I'm already dreading a future where my boy Alex's eyes are glued to his devices. And
You're taking mine home today. Now, you know, a guy wrote into the Huffington Post advice column because his wife started having sex with him again. You know, some people are just never happy. Even though they're going through divorce proceedings, he's wondering if he should try to call the divorce off. I don't know. I leave it to you all. Is this a good thing, a bad thing? What the hell's
They're
going on?
saying that breakup sex is hot. That's what they're saying.
It's like only hot if it's like makeup sex. Like, I don't get this. Once you're done with a dude, say you have a big fight and you're like, I'm done with you. How do you make out? How do you get into it? Don't you just want to
look at me. You know I don't
stuff
know.
out? And
I don't know anything about this.
I don't know, like, enjoy it.
Yeah.
You've been divorced. Like, do you relate to this in any way?
He was never more attractive than the day I broke up with him. It was like, the shackles are off! Well, that's
Who
how
are you with, Donald Trump?
I related to that, but he said that.
Doesn't everything look better, like, in retrospect? Don't you kind of, like, fantasize how good it was, but then when you realize it's not that great?
Do you?
I think, I don't, but I think a lot of people do.
I did, but I was always trying to get back in. I was like,
I mean, that's a
so you're
different...
telling me there's a chance?
It's a question of security versus insecurity, and maybe insecurity is a little sexier than security.
I think it's freedom. I think it's like, I don't have to worry about you anymore. I can just have fun. I don't care if you leave your clothes on the floor, the drama. Now I could just have fun with somebody, and it's not about building a life with them or taking them seriously. It's just part of it.
House. Get out of my house. If I'm doing divorce proceedings, the last thing I want to do is look up at you.
I'm with you. I'm with you.
Get out. Yeah. We'll be right back. That's what I was talking about us. Get out.
Hi, I'm Neil deGrasse Tyson, and I'm joining the ladies at the table. 2 minutes. If you're into geeky timekeeping, that's 120 billion nanoseconds, plus or minus a few million.
So my friend Neil deGrasse Tyson is the hardest working astrophysicist in the galaxy, master of the Twitterverse, and he just wrote a companion book to his Emmy-nominated Late Show Star Talk. Please welcome my friend, Neil deGrasse Tyson. I have some questions for you because all kinds of stuff's been going on.
Bring it on.
I just need to know. But you recently celebrated your birthday, but there was some debate as to how old you actually are.
No. Well, it depends what planet you want to count the years.
Well, that's explain
You
this
need
to
to specify.
Well,
okay.
How old are you?
A few days ago, I turned 58. So on Earth, 58. Because you're counting how many times you go around the sun. That's all it is. And just to be clear, I was born the same week that NASA was founded. Oh, so I feel NASA's pain. I feel the joy.
It was meant to be.
Yeah. So on Mercury, I think I did the math. I'd be 240 on Mercury. And on Saturn, I'd be 2. Just 2.
I want to move with Saturn.
If you go too far away, then the human life expectancy does not get served by the time it takes those planets to go around.
Well, let me ask you, because there's a lot of problems with birthdays these days. A lot of stuff is going on. NASA recently came out and said the 12 signs of the zodiac, as we know them, are actually off by about a month. that there is even a 13th sign.
Yeah, this has been true. We've known this for a couple of centuries. It's just that the press forgets every time this becomes a news story. And it takes about 18 months. And it's, oh my gosh, what am I going to do? And so Earth on its axis precesses, takes 26,000. We're spinning top.
Right.
You know we're tipped. So this actually does this. And it does that every 26,000 years. It turns out, as it does this, the correspondence of your zodiacal constellation with the month shifts.
Okay.
And when the constellations were laid out, it's been about 2,000 years since that has occurred. And so all constellations have shifted relative to anything your astrologer is going to tell you.
Right.
Right. Not only that, one of the constellations is not even mentioned in the zodiac. It's called Ophiuchus.
Ophiuchus.
I told you.
We forgot about it.
So if you think you're Scorpio, Scorpion, most of the days where you would be Scorpion, you are actually Ophiuchian. So the sun is in the constellation Ophiuchus for longer than it is in Scorpio. And because of the constellation shifts, all Scorpions and Ophiuchians are currently Librans.
I still want to be a Libra, and you still want to be a Libra.
We like Libra.
I was, and I
Balance.
am.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you for that.
Okay, it's a free country. Believe whatever you want, but try not to make legislation based on it because it has no foundation in cosmic reality.
Well, discussing legislation, just this week, President Obama set a goal to send Americans to Mars by the 2030s, and SpaceX founder Elon Musk recently announced plans to
Send his mama first. Yeah. Then I'll decide whether it's safe enough for me to go. No. So first, about the president's announcement. You know, back in the 60s when Kennedy said, put a man on the moon, return to safety, before the decade is out, that decade, had he not been shot and had he served 2 terms, most of that effort to get to the moon would have happened under his watch.
Right.
So he was committing political capital to make that happen. All right. We now live in a time, we have a president who's saying, let's go to Mars under a president to be named later on a budget line not yet established. So I don't know how real that is when the president says it. When Elon Musk says it, and he's putting money with it where his engineers are, that's better. And I might be Elon Musk's biggest skeptic, but somebody's got to be thinking about tomorrow, and I will never stand in his way. And he's actually putting money where that's going to happen. Now, fortunately, that mission, he's going to allow you to choose to come back. Because before that was announced, there's another guy, Baz Lonsdorff, who was setting up one-way missions to Mars.
Oh, I know.
Remember that? That's just weird.
I can think of a couple of people.
But here's what happened. I had one of the people who signed up for that on my talk show, and I said, what does your family say about this? And he said, oh, my wife says it's just fine. And I thought, wait a minute, have you thought this through? Is this because your wife loves you?
It's a long time to get to Mars, though.
No, so it's not the time so much there. It's 9 months, 10 months. You got to hang there until the planet orbits line up again, and then you come back. So it's at least 3 or 4 years.
Okay. That's like not convenient.
You've interviewed a bunch of celebrities who are closet science nerds. We had our own Whoopi was on your...
We like it if you're sort of famous, okay? Fine. But then on my show, it's a geek safe... Star Talk. Right. It's a geek safe space. So if you have geek underbelly, then we tickle your underbelly. If we learn that, does it come out on this show? I don't know. Whoopi on the show said she loves superheroes, and she can't wait to have a superhero who kind of looks like her. And I quote, with a big behind like hers.
That's right, and I'm proud of it. You know, you have to come to our show more often. There's so many great things to talk to you about. We love when you're here. We love it.
Well, it's the universe.
It's a great thing. You're the best. So we thank Neil deGrasse Tyson. We love him. And you can catch Star Talk Monday nights on the National Geographic Channel. And everyone in the audience, you lucky folks, you are going home with a copy of this book, Star Talk. Look at that. Look at that, okay? We'll be right back. Wow, that was a great day. You guys were fantastic. Thanks for coming. We want y'all to have a great day, everybody, and take a little time to enjoy whatever view you happen upon. That's the end of the show.